So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom, and do you, like me, have disagreements with your platoon buddies and your clan mates and your friends about what is the best TD in the game? What is the best tier 5 heavy tank? What's the best tier 10 tank destroyer? No, just me? No, I don't think it is. So I thought this would be an interesting new series, so hopefully you'll enjoy this. So what I'm going to look at is what is statistically the best tank destroyers, the best heavy tanks, the best medium tanks for various categories and at various tiers. And I'm going to start at tier 6 because personally I think tier 6 is one of the sweet spots of the game. Certainly for me, I enjoy tier 6 games more often than not. Yes, there's the frustration of you get a lot of very new players still at that level who don't really know what they're doing and they can throw the game for your team, but I think there's also an opportunity to have much more influence on the match yourself, yeah, I think personally I love tier 6, so I'm going to start there. It's my channel, so I'll do what I like. So yeah. Anyway, love feedback from people about kind of what they feel about this. You know, if there's anything else they want me to cover or look at, then let me know in the comments down below. So we're going to look at the top 5 tank destroyers at tier 6 for damage dealt, and I'm using the excellent website vbaddicts.net, basically, that compiles data from the entire World of Tanks community base. So it's based on stats for the last 30 days. So things will change, but not hugely, because, you know, averages tend to average out. That's the nature of the beast. So without further ado, let's get cracking. What's the top 5 TDs at tier 6 for damage dealt? So, somewhat surprisingly to me at least, the number 5 top damage dealer of TDs at tier 6 across all the different nations, across premiums and non-premium tanks, was actually the Achilles, the tier 6 British tank destroyer. Now this thing is kind of you don't see that many of them out there. It's a sort of hybrid, I guess, of the Wolverine, the tier 5 American TD, and the Hellcat or the Jackson at tier 6 at the American tank. So it's got a very punchy little gun. 17 no, not 17 pounder. It has yeah, it does have 17 pounder gun. There you go. Or the 3-inch howitzer. Now according to VB Addicts, this thing is across 20,000 games, just over 20,000 games. It's averaging 575.01 damage per game on average for the last 30 days, which is kind of surprising to me. This beats out the Jackson, the Hellcat, the Nashorn. So yeah, this is in at number 5. Less of a surprise to me is at number 4 in the charts for the most damage dealt, or the average damage dealt of tier 6 tank destroyers, is this, the Russian Su-100. Boasts a whacking great cannon, 122mm, or you could use the 100mm if you would rather. I personally like the big boomstick, always have done. So this sucker has played nearly 70,000 games, so considerably more than the Achilles down at tier 5, rank 5, and averages 586.53 damage per game, which is not bad at all. So in at number 3 for top damage dealers at tier 6 for tank destroyers is actually a premium tank. It is the Dickermax, the German tier 6 tank destroyer. This thing, it's a bit of a Marmite TD, to be honest. It's a big gun on it, which is probably why it's such a big damage dealer. 105mm gun doing 300 average damage is going to make a bit of a mess of things, but it's got no armor, and when it fires it gets spotted immediately. But it sits here at third place on the top damage dealers of tier 6 according to VB Addicts. 50,000 games, just over 50,000 games, and averaging 615.24 damage per game, which is quite a lot more than the Su-100 for a fairly comparable number of games. So yeah, that's your number 3. So what's the second most damage dealer at tier 6 for tank destroyers? Well, it's this thing. It's the box tank, the Su-100Y. This thing is a monster. Massive cannon on it. There we go, 130 millimeter, giving 440 average damage. About the size of Russia itself in terms of size, but a very fun premium tank. And this thing, statistically, they're talking nearly 39,000 games over the last 30 days by players, and it's averaging 623.54 damage per game. So about 10 more damage, but about 8 more damage than the Dicker Max down at 3. So what's number 1 in terms of damage dealt at tier 6 for tank destroyers? Well, it's this thing on the screen, the Chinese tier 6 tank destroyer, the WZ-131G fake tank. This thing is a brute. It's a lovely TD. Personally, I absolutely adore this thing. Why is it so good? Well, it has basically a tier 8 gun on it. It has this 100mm 59 100 TGFT, blimey what a mouthful, gun, which is basically exactly the same statistically as the Hype 59 has, the tier 8 Russian premium limited matchmaking medium tank. So, you know, down at tier 6, even though that gun is probably, if you're honest, a sort of 7.5 gun rather than an 8, the fact that you've got a 7.5 gun on a tier 6 tank destroyer is pretty good, and penetration is 181, which is outstanding, and 250 average damage with a pretty good rate of fire, 7.5 rounds per minute. So this thing is the highest damage dealer per averaging across all the player base for the last 30 days at tier 6 for tank destroyers across 38,500 games. It averaged 639.79 damage per game, which is pretty damn good. So let's see this TD in action. This is Dotville driving the WZ-131G FT on Swamp, and he's got the bum end of the matchmaking. It's a tier 8 game, but he's going to have an absolute monster. So why is this thing a really nice little TD? Well, I mentioned the gun. You know, the fact it's got the Hype 59's gun on it is kind of useful. Not the most accurate gun in the world, but actually not bad. If you're allowed to aim, I find it reasonably efficient. It's quite a stealthy little thing. It's very good camo, and surprisingly mobile. The thing I hate about the tier 7 version of this tank is the mobility is terrible. This thing gets around, skips around quite nicely. You can see here, it's got up on the hill here very rapidly, got into a nice position. And you may also have noticed the other thing that I love about this tank. It's got a log. Look at that, it's got a log. Oh yeah, it's got a log. Let's have a look. There's the log. Look at that thing. Beautiful. Gotta love a log. Anyway, actually it looks more like a Chinese spring roll or something, doesn't it? So he's come up here, taken a very passive position, which is kind of what you do in a TD, right? This makes me laugh when people moan about camping TDs. It's like, well, kind of that's the point, really. Just shows their ignorance more than anything else. So he's come out to sort of cover the heavy line. Now, it's less common these days. I think people have got wise to this on Swamp. Used to be all the heavies from the northern spawn would come steaming down the 1-2 line, and as they crossed up here where that, oh, this guy hasn't got wise, as they got where this KV2 is, you could shoot them inside. Like, come on, prove me. Yeah, there we go, like that. And people have got wise to that a bit now. Oh, blimey, there's a no knee. Oh, stop there, KV, nice. We're prioritising the KV. See, the reload is not bad. Not bad at all. Takes down his first kill. Nearly 600 damage so far. IS next, into the side of his turret. He's not paying... Well, the problem with the heavies pushing up that line is that they've got all the enemy heavy above them, so and then they're being shot in the side. and it makes it an absolute nightmare. Oh, another KV2. Hello, KV2. It's KVT num time. KVT time. Not going to get another shot though. That guy did the right thing. Just keep moving. If you're going to do it, just keep going. Oh, I think that... Oh, that shot. There's the inaccuracy of the gun. 0.36 accuracy. And that shell just wandered off and hit the window frame. Or broken window frame. T150. Big chunk of him. And this is the problem. By the time the heavy tanks get up this line, they've virtually got no health left, and then they've got to fight the enemy heavies that are sitting there. The opposite happens, of course, is then when the southern team have won there, they then try to push down, and they get killed by all the TDs sitting up at D3 and 4. So this map is broken. Although I believe it's actually been taken out in the next patch, so with the HD they're not going to HDify it. Wow, Hellcat versus Sioux. Hellcat definitely came off worse there. But we've seen the problem. Going to move in before the before the Sioux gets a chance. Yes, we certainly could. And ammo rack him to the as well. So 2,100 damage. Just done what a TD does. Campfire. But remember, he is bottom tier. He's a tier 6 in a tier 8 game here. And you know, that's the downside of tier 6s. They do see tier 8s. But TDs like this can cope. They can cope if you're clever and you play the tank as the tank was intended. Has our KV got the wrong gun? Oh my god, look at that. Let's have a look. Yes, he's got the wrong gun. Don't laugh, children. Do not laugh. He's got the wrong gun. Yeah, sad, I know. Sorry, momentary breakdown of all etiquette there on the channel. So he's doing the right thing here. He's got binos, so they've come up, and there you go. He can see that that TD out there, puts a shell beautifully into him, pulls back, assuming he's spotted. Don't know whether he's got sixth sense because we haven't seen anything close enough really. KV is trying to get up there to fire, but the KV is blind as a bat, so he needs our spotting. No, that was a bit of a hopeful shot. What was it, IS-3 now? Sniping. Because IS-3s are good at that. That's irony. Do you hear that? Irony? That's not what you do with your crumpled shirts. Irony. That's irony. Anyway, I don't know what I'm on this morning. Bounces a shot on the T25-2. Reload's pretty quick though, but not quick enough, and that time the shell drops like a stone. But that T25-2 strikes me as somebody who's going to have another try. He's got away with it twice. Is he going to go for it a third? No, he looks like he has finally pulled back. Okay, so it's 9 plays 8. Plays 8, good job. But there's still quite a lot of heavy tier 8s out there. Coming around, look at the mobility of this thing. Boom, takes a shot in return, and bugs out. And there you go. IS-3 took down the T25-2. Right. However, our heavies have pushed on up. Look, this is what always happens on this map. One of the reasons I'm not going to be disappointed they take this out of rotation is that our heavies have pushed up the 1-2 line and now are caught by the short and curlies, basically, as they try and get into the enemy cap. It's too exposed. That's the problem. You get up there, it's too exposed. In the same way as the heavies coming south, it's too exposed for them. But as I say, the plan is to remove, well, according to the community contributor meeting that happened recently, that they're going to remove this map and not HDify it, which part of me is very sad about, because I don't like to see any maps go at all, however unbalanced and how crap they are. It's just nice to have the variety, but it isn't the best map. Oh, hello, Even 90. You're really going to sit there? But we missed him. Oh, loading HE. We'll be reloading. He's still there. Nice shot. Unlucky we didn't do a little bit more damage there. Thinking about pushing down. You can see this guy is an extremely good player, but what I liked about this replay, apart from the fact it shows off this tank beautifully in a high tier game, is the fact he hasn't fired any premium. He's got some premium on board, but not much at all. And I'm always love to see games where very good players just show their skill without needing to have to hit that 2 key. And I know it's part of the game, and I don't mind about it as much as I used to, because what's the point? But I just think, hell, if you can play without it and you can make it look good, then fantastic, good on you. Anyway, enough waffle. It's now down to the squeaky bum time. We've got 3 plays 2. Scorpion G is not looking. Great. Put a shot into him. Pull back before he has a chance, or before his buddy. And the even 90 comes round. The even 90's on 6 kills. Had a monstrously good game. Snapshot is not something you really do in this thing. He's very nervous about where that even 90 is going to pop up. He's been playing beautifully, that even 90. He's been all over the map and was last seen right in front. And I think it's one thing you can guarantee he won't be, is right in front. Okay, so going in against the Scorpion G, and takes him down with a nice shot. IS3 is saying please win, guys. Well, isn't that what everyone tries to do? It always makes me laugh when people say that. He's saying cap. No. Well, I suppose it's a good tactic maybe for the KV2 to go and cap, but really the that even 90 will spot them wherever he wants to be and will shoot them to pieces. And there we go, good communication in the chat. Is the KV2 is saying, I'll cap, you cover me. And that's well, I think this is what our friend here was, Dotville was going to do anyway, but it's covering. And he's just keeping moving around, seeing where they can spot. He's loaded HE, ready for if the even 90 reappears. He did hit him once, so it's probably a one shot, or near enough a one shot. Where is he? He's taken the bet that he's over this side. And indeed he is. And oh, and he splashes the tracks, just knocks the tracks out, doesn't kill him. Reloading with a standard round. Oh, really? That was so unlucky. Hits him again, this time takes him down to 100 health. And the KV2 is down. Right, it's 1-on-1, mano a mano. Tier 8 light tank with an autoloader against a Chinese tank destroyer with a tier 8 gun. Who's your money on? You can bet the even 90 is now reloaded with his 3-shell clip. He can certainly take out our tank very, very easily. Oh, wow, where's he going? Actually, I suppose that's not a bad move. He knew the chances are he wouldn't escape. And sure enough, he didn't. What a game. Good game. Nicely played. So there you go. That is Dotville driving the tier 6 Chinese tank destroyer, the WZ-131G FT, the highest damage generator across all the games in the last 30 days according to VB Addicts. He got an ace tanker, he got bruiser, he got demolition expert, fighter, fire for effect, and he got Hallonen's medal, which is for destroying 2 enemy vehicles in a tank destroyer in one battle that are at least 2 tiers higher than him. Finished up unsurprisingly top of his team, 3,829 damage, 5 kills, 1542 base XP, fired 25 shots, hit with 19, penned with 18 for that 3,800 damage. He took 2 hits himself. The WZ doesn't have much armor, so they all penetrated. 57,500 credits, didn't resort to any premium shells, so made a nice profit of 47,500 in that game. Was running some personal reserves by the look of it, and also had a mission. Oh, that's the Chinese mission, isn't it? So made 9,252 experience for his crew. So there you go. That is the as I say, the highest average damage in games tier 6 tank destroyer, the Chinese tier 6 WZ131G FT. So we talked about the best. What about the not so good? So the worst 3 according to VB Addicts for tier 6 damage dealing TDs in the game. And third from bottom, 11th overall, is this British tier 6 tank destroyer, the 88. More of an assault gun than a tank destroyer. Now I'm somewhat surprised because this thing got a considerable armor buff in the last patch. While the tier 5 was knocked down in armor, this thing got a huge boost, and it boasts a pretty reasonable 17-pounder gun, which is pretty much the same as the Achilles has. In fact, it is exactly the same as the Achilles has, but I guess it's its mobility that's the problem for this thing. So this thing, over 24,000 games, only 480 average damage across the player base for the last 30 days. So second from bottom of the tier 6 tank destroyers in the game for damage dealing is this, the Jagdpanzer IV, the German tank destroyer. I don't have one of these anymore. I got rid of it a long time ago. I found it very, very limiting in terms of what it was capable of. I know people love this, and certainly it's one of the highest played tanks at tier 6 for tank destroyers. 62,500 games played with this thing, but it's only averaging 471.08 per game. So that's considerable. If you consider the top tank was 639, that's a considerable difference in damage dealt. So I'm guessing this won't surprise anybody out there. The worst damage dealing tank destroyer at tier 6 in the game currently, according to VB Addicts, is, drum roll, the Churchill gun carrier. Look at this thing. It's ugly as well. Oh, now I know some people swear by this thing, and I actually featured a game fairly recently on my channel where someone absolutely monstered the enemy in this thing, because it has actually a pretty damn good gun. A 32-pounder gun with 220 penetration, 280 average damage. The problem is, it's got no armor, it's the size of a house, and it gets killed really, and it gets seen from everywhere and killed very, very quickly. I mean, look at this box on top. Anyway, so it, and you can see the popularity of this thing, or complete lack of it. It has the smallest sample size of games of any tanks at this tier on the website. So 3,779 games. That is it. But it's averaging damage of 437.55, and as I say, that is nearly 200 less than the top damage dealer at this tier. 200 hit points. That's just a ridiculous amount. So this thing is the bottom of the pile, and my suggestion was, if you were looking to find a way to ace something or to get marks of excellence, maybe give this thing a go, but be warned, it's shite. So there you go, there's my rundown of the top damage dealing TDs at tier 6 and the bottom 3 as well as a bonus. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, and if you've got any suggestions of any other sort of rundowns you want to do, then let me know. I'll look through some of the top tier 6 tanks for in other categories and other classes of vehicles in the next few weeks, but anything else you kind of fancy having a look at, just give me an idea down in the comments down below. And also, if you disagree with this, or you happen to absolutely adore the 88 or the gun carriage and you think putting it down there that low in the charts is wrong, then let me know. I mean, this is all statistically driven, and you know, we all know there's certain tanks that everyone says is terrible and you actually quite like. Just one of those things. We all have our little loves and hates in this game, but statistically way out in front is this thing, the Chinese tier 6 tank destroyer, the WZ131G fake tank. And if you want a high damage dealing tank destroyer at tier 6, then you might want to get down the Chinese tech tree. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. In the meantime, enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take it too seriously, and I will see you again soon. This is GamerDom, signing out.